Introducing GeForce TV. GeForceTV.net is your new source for action overload. Featuring free live programming year-round and countless hours of on-demand video, GeForce TV will be your first stop whenever you want to see the latest and hottest racing action. See live Friday Night Excitement weekly from Washouican Speedway, and watch the stars of tomorrow make a name for themselves during Thursday night's live microsprint racing. GeForce TV is also the new home for Rivals Race Chat. Watch weekly as Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross discuss all the hot topics in the world of motorsports. For iRacing fans, GeForce TV has you covered with hours of live broadcasting from Rivals and GeForce TV racing leagues. GeForce TV promises to deliver motorsports, esports, and action sports you want to see, along with talk shows and vlogs to keep you connected to the lifestyle you love. Visit GeForceTV.net today to subscribe for free. Sit back, hold on, and feel the G's on GeForce TV.
Hello everyone and welcome to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and the Wayfarer Insurance GT Pro Invitational, part of the Castrol Victoria Day eSpeedFest. My name is Pat Gonzalez, one of the public address voices here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, joined by Todd Lewis. And Todd, you've done a few of these iRacing events here on GeForce TV. I'm a brand new rookie in terms of iRacing, but we've certainly spent decades at this racetrack watching some of the incredible auto racing, and hopefully we can provide some excitement here over the next hour or so going iRacing.
We're looking forward to it, Pat. We are unable to enjoy the real thing this weekend at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but we will do the next best thing, which has been iRacing. I have participated in a few events already this season. They are fun, they are exciting, and the drivers enjoy them almost as much as they enjoy being out on the track. The competition is a little bit different, but it is fun. It's a chance for us to gather together and enjoy our favorite sport and see the drivers participating. I'm really excited and looking forward to today's event too, because we've got a number of drivers from different disciplines, and not all of them have driven the Cadillac CTS-V at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, which I think will make for a lot of excitement.
And of course, great to have Wayfarer Insurance Group along with us, sponsoring our event. Whether you own an RV or collector car, Wayfarer Insurance Group has you covered. Protect your passion with Wayfarer Insurance Group, Canada's leader in lifestyle insurance. Get the right coverage so you can enjoy the roads less traveled. Visit wayfarerinsurancegroup.com to learn more. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and their partners are offering contests and promotions this weekend in the virtual marketplace. Go to the What's On section of CanadianTireMotorsportPark.com to see the full list of weekend promotions from CTMP sponsors like Durham Tourism, Brock Street Brewery, Quick Wick, and more. Stay connected by following at CTMP Official on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And so, Todd Lewis, we get set here for the start. This racetrack, of course, operational since 1961. Next year, of course, we'll be celebrating our big 60th anniversary. And we look forward to being on the racetrack, hopefully later on this year, but certainly in 2021. 2.459 miles around, 3.957 kilometers. There you see the cars lined up, preparing to do battle here. 45 minutes, but there will be a competition yellow about halfway through the race.
And I think that will see the need for that competition yellow. I think it will be fun. I think it will be exciting. I think it's going to be interesting to see the field bunch back up. We saw a number of drivers that had some challenges during the practice session a little bit earlier, and everybody seemed to gather it up pretty well together though, and the times were remarkably close, down into the 1:18 for the quickest of the qualifiers, second or so in terms of being off the pace, but it was interesting, it was fun, and it was exciting to watch as we see the cars getting rolling out on the pace lap now through that famous corner one. I think we're going to see a lot of action there today, Pat.
Of course, everybody's driving the Cadillac CTS-V race car, 3,200 pounds, a 6.2 liter V8 engine producing over 500 horsepower, and in fact, it's a Cadillac that owns the track record here. That goes back to 2015 in the World Challenge class, a lap at 1:15.296. That was turned in by Johnny O'Connell in the Cadillac back in 2015 in the World Challenge GT class. In practice, I think these iRacing cars were fastest in at about 1:18. We'll see whether or not they're able to pick that pace up here for the actual 45-minute run. Of course, if we're all at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park today for the Castrol Victoria Day eSpeedFest, one of the other voices you would be hearing on our public address system would be that of longtime public address voice Jim Martin. I have had the pleasure the last couple of years of sharing the announcer's booth and the microphone with Jim Martin. But sadly, last fall, after Jim announced the celebration of motorsport races in early October, we lost Jim Martin, and we dedicate this iRacing event here this afternoon to the man who was a fixture at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for decades and traveled around the world calling motor racing. He had a deep passion for this sport that we all love. Jim, we missed you.
Beautifully said, Pat. Yes, as the field is forming up, we got a quick look at the starting lineup as they were making their way around on the pace lap. Yes, that is the name of Robert Wickens, who is participating in today's event. A lot of drivers from different disciplines, Parker Thompson, Daniel Morad, and we have Michael Lewis and Ken Cook, who are also participating, and they were the quickest 2 qualifiers. Looking forward to, as we get ready to go through green, coming around through the final couple of corners out onto the front straight.
And so the pace car on pit road, the field rolls out at White's Corner, turn number 10, and there's the wave of the green flag. We are racing at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park down into turn number 1. Kenton Cook, 25-year-old from California, was quickest in the hour and 40-minute practice session and put it on the pole. Daniel Morad in car number 17 tucked right in there in second as they run up into turn number 3. So it is Cook in that number 2 Cadillac leading the field off of turn 3 as they head to that lightning fast left-hander under the Continental Tire Bridge, down the chute, and now up into Moss Corner for the first time. Todd?
Here's the important part, getting through Moss Corner, getting yourself fixated properly so that you get the proper run down the long back stretch on the Andretti straightaway. And Kenton Cook seems to be putting a little bit of a gap between himself and Daniel Morad on this first lap, but you want to get into the draft for those competitors following in behind wherever you can. But the other part of this, slowing those heavy cars down as you get through that final complex of corners, 8, 9, and 10, and get back out onto the front stretch. Smooth so far as we make our first lap around Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
Single file through the S's off of turn number 10. They work back to the line to complete this opening lap, and at the stripe, Kenton Cook by 0.4 of a second over Daniel Morad, who runs in second. Then it is Alex Ellis in the 14 car running third. Michael Lewis in car 13 is fourth. And Matt Clark in car number 1, a rookie in the Toyo Tires F1600 Championship a year ago. He had lots of laps here on the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park track. He is back there in that 5th place position. And there is Kenny Wilden in car number 59. Kenny Wilden, who of course has raced all kinds of cars here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. I didn't think he did a whole lot of practice, got into qualifying late, and there's an incident that may have involved Daniel Morad. One of the other cars got into Morad, and then that driver put it into the Castrol pit wall here. We'll try to get it backed up. Todd?
Well, yeah, it's a challenge to find your way through at times, and yes, we can see that after the contact of the pit walls, these cars get moving rather quickly. That is Mason Filippi of the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Series. He is a rookie to that series, has plenty of experience though, has some MX-5 Series wins, and has got himself back going again, but he is now trying to struggle to get back up to the field. And will he make a stop along pit road and get a reset and a reprogram?
Of course, he teams up with Michael Lewis in that Michelin Pilot Challenge Series car, and right now Lewis up in the 4th place spot. So it is the driver who had been quickest through the hour and 40-minute practice session, quickest in qualifying, that car, the number 2 of Kenton Cook out of Glendora, California, the 25-year-old driver, very talented, both on the actual racetrack and here in iRacing. He's got about a half a second lead on Daniel Morad in car number 17. Then it is Ellis in car 14, holding on to the 3rd place spot. Alex Ellis, former Indy Lights and Formula BMW driver, holding on to 3rd. Then Michael Lewis, and then it is Matt Clark out of Campbellville, Ontario, in the number 1 car, rounding out your top 5. Michael McCarthy in the 77 is 6th. Sam Fellows, after qualifying outside of the top 10, has picked up his pace. Sam up into 7th. Then it is the 16 car of Wilkins in 8th, Kenny Wilden 9th, and Robert Wickens after that spin coming into turn number 10. Wickens has worked his way back up into 10th, but he's about 24 seconds back. He's got a lot of catching up to do.
I was watching Robert Wickens a little bit earlier as he was going through the practice, struggling a little bit through that part of the track, as a matter of fact, finding his way through corners 5A and B at Moss Corner, finding the edge, going over the edge a couple of times, but seeming to get back in. He was getting a little more comfortable as the practice went along, as we're getting an onboard look now as he goes down that long and ready straightaway, but not having a lot of experience in these Cadillac CTS-V cars. In fact, this is the first time on the sim that Robert Wickens has driven these cars, but seems to be getting up to pace rather quickly. We'll see how far he can climb back, and of course that competition caution pad coming at about halfway through this event is going to close things up, and we'll get a chance to see how strong the Robert Wickens machine can be as he makes his way back up towards the front.
Well, there was some discussion that they were going to invert the top cars at the end of what was going to be a original format of two different races, but they elected to go with the single 45-minute run and that competition caution that's going to come halfway through this 45-minute run. Back to the line here, down into turn number 1. It continues to be Kenton Cook in that Cadillac number 2, who continues to just inch away from the 17 of Daniel Morad, who is just about a second back. Then the 14 of Alex Ellis doing a nice job there in third. Then it is Michael Lewis in fourth, and Matt Clark, the F1600 driver. He was fourth in the Toyo Tires F1600 Championship a year ago, just missing the Rookie of the Year title. That went to Matt Barry, as that series saw two very talented young drivers. Sam Fellows up into the 6th place spot. Mark Wilkins in car 16 is 7th. Then Michael McCarthy, 77, runs 8th. Kenny Wilden, the veteran. And Todd, I almost want to look out there at the screen and see Kenny Wilden in that old Tide-sponsored Players GM Motorsport car that he ran in the late 80s and early 90s here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. But Kenny Wilden out of Oakville, Ontario, having a good run up here in the 9th place spot. And then it is Mason Filippi in car number 12, rounding out your top 10. Parker Thompson had a problem early. He's over a minute back in the 11th place spot. He had run very quick in both practice and qualifying.
Parker Thompson has a lot of experience at this track as well as a lot of experience in different disciplines as well, but is fairly new to sports car racing. In fact, last season was the first year he ran with a car that had a roof on it. It's the way he described it to me, running in open wheel competition on the Road to Indy ladder. But Parker Thompson has found himself very comfortable pretty quickly and ran a very strong second overall in the GT3 Championship, the Porsches, last season in Canada. Also got some experience in the United States, and he had a tough competitor who ran up the season last year in Roman DeAngelis. But Parker Thompson gave him everything he could handle through much of that season last year, including a couple of events in Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. But Parker Thompson seems to be able to adapt to whatever it is he is driving. And once again, he'll get the benefit of closing things up when we have that competition and caution, and we'll get a chance to see how well he can do and whether he can climb back into the field. But Kenton Cook up front really seems to be starting to stretch that lead out a little bit now, ahead of Daniel Morad, who's just about 1.4 seconds as Cook comes again through corner 10 to cross the stripe, but edging that lead out ever so slightly on each lap around the circuit.
Here we go on board with the driver sitting there in fourth, Michael Lewis, in car number 13, the Laguna Beach, California driver, 29 years of age, running the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge in the TCR class. And Lewis was consistently in the top 5 through that hour and 40-minute practice session as he tries to run down here. The driver's just ahead of him. Those are your front 3 cars. Cook in car number 2, your leader, followed by the Morad machine, or the Morad machine. And then as we look at this pack of cars through Moss Corners, one of the cars ran a little bit wide there as they tuck in and begin to climb up that Andretti straightaway. Some really good racing going on here in the top 10. Great to have you with us aboard G-Force TV, wherever you're online here this afternoon. We certainly wish we could actually be at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park today in person. Beautiful sunny day here in the Toronto area. Temperature up around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, about 18 degrees Celsius. Would be a beautiful day to actually be at the racetrack, but we enjoy the iRacing action as they work back down into turn 1.
That is a good battle up front now for second and third position. Daniel Morad trying to hold on to it, and Kenton Cook giving himself a little bit of breathing room, but some good battles throughout the field as well, with Daniel Morad and Alex Ellis, who are running second and third right now, and it is Michael Lewis who is running fourth, and then Matt Clark, who, as you mentioned, had lots of experience in carts and lots of online experience too, and we're finding that a lot of the younger participants, those that are starting to come up the way through the ranks of whichever series, whether it be sports cars or whether it be open wheel racing, find themselves with a lot of online experience, and that benefits them in terms of learning the tracks, and it's a little bit of a challenge for those that have been around and are first learning iRacing and how to operate the sim. The feel is a little bit different. So many drivers have said, I don't have the feel of the race car around me. I can't feel it through my body, and that's a little bit different from what they have learned with so many hours of on-track experience, the feel of the car through their body, not just what they're seeing and feeling through their hands.
And now we go on board with Alex Ellis in car number 14. He's right in the thick of that lead battle as they work back up across the line. Things have really tightened up at the front. I think Cook in car number 2, our leader since the opening lap, had a little bit of a miscue, and that has allowed Morad in car number 17 to close, along with Ellis in car 14, and also coming right along. Oh, problem there for Alex Ellis. He is off the racetrack in Quebec corner going up into turn number 3. He was all over Daniel Morad for second and then ran wide out into the grass. We'll see how far back he gets pushed. Let's have a look here, Todd, at the replay.
Yeah, that's right. He was, just as you called it, trying to make his way alongside of Daniel Morad, and then it looked like Morad just twitched for a second, and that may have upset Alex Ellis, who would have been focused on the rear bumper of that Cadillac CTS. And sometimes when the driver twitches in front of you, you react and sometimes overreact, and that may have caught Alex Ellis out on that lap. But now it is Daniel Morad who is on the hunt, just 0.2 of a second behind Kenton Cook, as they make their way around the course and making the turn for the 9 and 10 complex, and then making their way back out onto the front straight. A tight battle again up front of the field.
Well, this is going to reshuffle the running order as they work up across the line. Michael Lewis should get, there he goes, up into third. So Lewis in car number 13, the Laguna Beach, California driver, 29 years of age, running up into that third place spot. Then it is Matt Clark up into fourth. And let's see here, Ellis looks like he was able to hang on to fifth, so he did get it corrected after running off onto the grass there at turn number 3. We've got just about 32 and a half minutes remaining in this one, but again, we will go to that competition yellow at about around the 22 and a half minute mark. And then we'll have the second half of the run here to the checkered flag, 45-minute Wayfarer Insurance GT Pro Invitational. If you've joined us late, Pat Gonzalez and Todd Lewis in our virtual broadcast booth here overlooking turn 10 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And now you go on board with Daniel Morad off the end of the Andretti straightaway into the top of the S's. It's down to about 5 or 6 car lengths as they swing through turn number 9. And now into White's corner off of turn 10 on the start-finish straightaway as they'll work back to the stripe. And again, the digital racetrack that we're working with is circa 2012, Todd. You don't see the amazing improvements and additions that have been made to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We say 2012 is BC, 2012 BC, before Carlo, of course, Carlo Fadani and Ron Fellows and the crew at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park just doing an amazing job of transforming this racetrack, and hopefully we get a chance to revisit it later on in the season. Of course, earlier this this week. It was announced that the Mobil 1 Sports Car Grand Prix, July 2 to 5, that event has been canceled, and also yesterday, I understand, the Varac event for June, but hopefully as things open up here in Ontario and things improve, we'll be back on the racetrack in August for some of the great events that are still on the schedule, including the Chevy Silverado 250 for the Labor Day weekend. 30 and a half minutes remaining. It is Kenton Cook, in car number 2, continues to lead by just a second over Daniel Morad. Michael Lewis in car number 13, third. Matt Clark is in fourth, and then after that miscue up in turn number 3, Alex Ellis in car number 14 runs fifth. But how about this? Sam Fellows has worked his way up into the 6th place position. He's within striking distance of Alex Ellis, so we could have a battle here for 5th before this is all over. It is Mark Wilkins in car number 16 running in 7th. Kenny Wilden 59 is 8th. And then we've got, it is Wilkins in 7th, then Kenny Wilden, then Robert Wickens in 9th, and then Mason Filippi in car number 12 rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, that's a nice climb for Sam Fellows up through the field after qualifying a little bit further back. He has taken his time and started to maneuver his way forward just a little bit, and it's a nice move for Sam Fellows to come up forward. And look at this battle with Robert Wickens, who is pushing on Kenny Wilden, trying to improve his position. That's Robert Wickens, who has adapted and learned through the practice that took place a little bit earlier. Had some troubles early on, and it looks like he might have some troubles now as he's gone a little bit off course, but taking a second to get it corrected and pointed back in the right direction. Robert Wickens is watching him a little bit earlier through the practice session. He had some struggles, had some difficulty getting through Moss Corner in particular, but then found his way forward. He was always trying to push it a little bit further, but that's what we have come to know of Robert Wickens, especially over the last year and a half or a couple of years now with his challenges that he has shown remarkable progress to be back in a car. Driving on a sim for the first time today, the Cadillac CTS-V, and here we have another look at it as Robert Wickens, feeling the challenge from behind, just gets it a little bit out of shape through corner number 2, bounces back and gets right into the right direction again, falls back a spot, but Robert Wickens has done a remarkable job in adapting to this Cadillac CTS today.
Well, it has been all Kenton Cook in car number 2. He has opened up about a 3-second gap on the number 13 of Michael Lewis. Matt Clark in car number 1 up into 3rd. Daniel Morad down into the 4th place spot. So Morad must have had a problem out there as he has dropped back. Then it is Alex Ellis still running in 5th. The 10 car of Sam Fellows is 6th. And at the line, we see a flag being waved. I'm not sure if that's a problem in turn number 1. As the race leader goes through, and it's 2.4 seconds back to Michael Lewis in car number 13. And now we go on board with Kenton Cook. And it looks like this is going to be the full course yellow
competition caution, I believe, Pat. Yes, I believe this is the competition caution.
Yeah, this is yeah. So it comes out here right around 27 minutes to go, and of course our full course caution being brought to you by Durham Tourism. So many great things to do and see in the Durham region, and we invite you to follow them on social media as we go to our competition yellow. And Todd, an interesting first half of this race, but it has been Kenton Cook who has led each one of the laps, and as right now, before that yellow came out, 2.4 seconds ahead of Michael Lewis, but this one has a long way to go.
We've seen that Kenton Cook had a little struggle earlier in that first half of that race. It got Daniel Morad right up on his bumper. Morad had a little difficulty. He slipped back a little bit, and then it was Michael Lewis and Mac Clark who put up the challenge, and Alex Ellis as well, who was up front here for the challenge as well. But this will bunch everyone back up, give everyone a chance to refresh, have a little something cool to drink, let the tires cool down, and decide how they want to approach the second half of this race. A nice climb through the field for Sam Fellows, who's got a fair bit of experience at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Sixth place for Mark Wilkins as well, also his hometown track. A lot of experience and a lot of laps at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Michael Shank had him up last year running in one of his GTD cars as part of the IMSA event, and Mark Wilkins was the hometown talent, if you will. Daniel Morad is running 7th, Kenny Wilden is 8th, Mason Filippi's 9th, and Robert Wickens now 10th, Parker Thompson 11th.
Well, some of those drivers who had problems early, including Wickens in car number 4 and Parker Thompson in car number 9, because they were running quick in both practice and the actual 20-minute qualifying session that set the grid. And now we see the cars on pit road as we prepare to go back to racing here shortly. This competition caution is brought to you by Durham Tourism, home of the fastest track in North America, and we invite you to experience it all in style and luxury trackside in 2021. You can enter online in the What's On section at CanadianTireMotorsportPark.com for full contest details. So check that out on the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park website in the What's On section. There's some great information and an opportunity there to check out Durham Tourism that are bringing you this competition yellow as we set the field working its way through turn 4 up into Moss Corner. And very shortly now, next time around, that Porsche pace car is going to head to pit road, and then the drivers are going to head back out here. So Morad, Wilkins, so it looks like, in fact, Todd, they have inverted the top 10 or the cars that were running on the lead lap when that competition yellow came out.
That'll keep it interesting.
It's going to be Daniel Morad on the pole, Kenny Wilden alongside. We were mentioning briefly earlier in the race, Kenny Wilden. How many great races did we see at this racetrack back in the late 80s, early 90s with the likes of Kenny Wilden and, of course, Ron Fellows, Richard Spinard in those great years of the Players Limited GM Motorsport Series. And Kenny Wilden was part of that in the Tide sponsored Camaro. And of course, Kenny went on to race just about every kind of other car here in Canada and the United States. And back at it here in this iRacing event as the pace car is on pit road. No, pace car stays out. Still under the full course yellow, so it looks like it'll be at least one more lap around before we set them free. And of course, Todd, today is just one half of our Castrol Victoria Day eSpeedFest festivities. A big day tomorrow, and of course, I know all race fans, whether you're a hardcore NASCAR fan or not, to finally see cars back on the racetrack at Darlington tomorrow afternoon. And of course, here on GeForce TV, Adam Ross and the crew will be bringing us a bunch of other iRacing as part of the program tomorrow. We'll update you on all of that, and an opportunity for folks tuning in who are iRacing competitors, a chance for you to qualify for some of the iRacing going on tomorrow. Should be a great day to cap off our weekend, and we look ahead to Victoria Day weekend 2021, where we can be together again at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
Together online for now, but together in person again as soon as possible. Of course, tomorrow's main event, the NASCAR Pinty's iRacing Invitational. It's the Castrol 150 presented by Canadian Tire. You can watch that on TSN at 7:30 tomorrow evening. That follows SportsCenter and the NASCAR Cup Series race. To close out the weekend rather. It's the Canadian Sim Racing Series final. It goes live here on GeForce TV. It is 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. You can catch that following the Pinty's race on TSN. Will be part of that. We've had a couple of great events in the iRacing series already this month, and tomorrow night here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, those racers will take on this challenging road course, a road course for the first time in that 5-race series, as we get the field lined up again, double file, getting set for a restart, Pat. Lots of action I'm expecting headed into corner number 1. Daniel Morad towards the front again. How will he handle it this time? Will it be a little bit different if he's able to hang on to that lead this time?
Well, Morad and Lewis up there, cars 17 and 13, side by side as they form up, swinging down through turn number 9. That Porsche pace car heads on a pit road. Here comes the field of Cadillac CTSV race cars out of turn number 10 on the start-finish straightaway. There's the green flag, and we're racing in the Wayfarer Insurance GT Pro Invitational. The second half of the run here this afternoon at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park as they run up down through turn number 2, and now you go on board with Kenton Cook in car number 2 as he works his way up here through Moss Corner and, working his way off at turn 3, now heading down under the Continental Bridge, down the chute and up into Moss Corner as the lead pack of cars swing through here for the first time. So already Cook has charged up into that second place position. He has clearly been the fastest of the iRacers through the hour and 40-minute practice session and the 20-minute qualifying session that set the grid. Here they are, side by side, up the Andretti straightaway, into the top of the S's. Cook on the outside, trying to take the lead away from Wilkins. Can't get it done as he will hold him off into turn number 9. Almost able to get around there on the outside, but he was not able to make the pass, and now they work just a car length apart. Daniel Morad in car number 17 ahead of Kenton Cook. Then it is Alex Ellis 14 up in the 3rd, Michael Lewis 13 4th, and Robert Wickens has picked up several positions. Wickens in car number 4 is just 1.8 seconds back in that 5th place position.
Look at the pressure that Kenton Cook is putting on Daniel Morad. He does not want him to get away. He wants to fill his mirrors, that Cadillac CTS, and try to get around him as quickly as possible. There are 18 and a half minutes left, but the car that Kenton Cook is driving is pushing hard to try to get back in front of Daniel Morad as they come through Moss Corner. The launch off there, the important part. Cook was able to get alongside on the last time around. He is tucked right up under the bumper, trying to get a little bit of a tow as they go down the long Andretti straightaway, peeking out a little bit to the left and the right, and now makes the move to the left side. They will again go side by side, headed to corner number 8. Cook may get it done this time, but no. Morad drifts across a little bit, holds the position as they begin to go through the S's.
And there was Cook taking a look on the inside through turn number 9. While Morad and Cook battle up front, that is allowed Alex Ellis in car number 14 to make it a 3-way battle as they work down up across the start-finish stripe into turn number 1. It is Daniel Morad holding on, but just barely in car number 17. He has got our pole sitter, Kenton Cook, all over his rear bumper and tucked right up under that rear wing. Alex Ellis holding on to 3rd, and then a little bit of a gap back to Michael Lewis in car number 13 in 4th. Robert Wickens in car number 4 rounds out your top 5. Great 3-way battle under the Continental Bridge through the left-hander at turn number 4. Up into Moss Corner one more time, and Morad trying to make that Cadillac as wide as possible off of 5B. Now they go up through the gearbox, through the fast left-hander there at 5C, and under the Mobil 1 bridge. These 3 drivers tucked together, and again, it'll be Cook who will try to pull the draft slingshot move here at the end of the Andretti straightaway. He's taking a look on the outside. Now he goes inside, and Morad will shut the door as Cook tried to fake Morad. He made the move on the inside. Oh, and Cook just about lost the race car off a 9. They work back onto the start-finish straightaway. 16 and a half minutes to go here in the Wayfarer Insurance GT Pro Invitational on G-Force TV. And Todd Lewis, we have got a whale of a 3-driver battle going on up front.
This is fun to watch. Daniel Morad does a lot of coaching and a lot of driver instruction. He is using all of that knowledge that he often passes on to other racers about the cars and about Canadian Tire Motorsport Park to try to keep his Cadillac CTS in front of Kenton Cook. He has challenged from the outside on the first couple of tries by, then Cook on the last try out of corner 5, Moss corner, and up the long end ready straightaway, tried to go the inside. Morad slammed the door shut once again. Will it be the outside? Will it be the inside this time from Cook, who's feeling a little bit of pressure from Alex Ellis from behind now and is having to defend more than he can attack. He's going to have to hold that second place position away from Alex Ellis before he's going to get an opportunity once again to challenge Daniel Morad, who is loving what he is seeing behind him.
You saw the interval there among those 3 cars in that overhead shot. They swing through turn 9. Morad in car number 17 will bring the trio onto the start-finish straightaway with just a little over 15 minutes to go as they run down into turn number 1. It is Morad, Cook, and Ellis. Morad, of course, with way more experience here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park on the actual racetrack, but Cook, a very talented driver, both on a real racetrack and in iRacing. As we said, he topped all drivers in the practice, won the pole position for the race here this afternoon, and right now he is all over Daniel Morad as they peel off of turn number 3. 4th place driver Michael Lewis 1.6 seconds back as he tries to inch closer to make it a quartet of Cadillacs battling here for the win. Through Moss corner out of 5B, Morad by just nearly a car length. And now as they work off of 5C and begin that long climb up the Andretti straightaway, those 3 cars just separated by no more than about a half a second. And it is still Michael Lewis in car number 13 trying to close. Robert Wickens in car number 4 runs in the 5th place spot. Again, it was Kenton Cook taking a look on the inside at the end of the Andretti straightaway, going into the top of the S's, couldn't make the pass. Now again, he goes inside, looks outside, but again, the running order stays the same. Cook a little bit wide there, up out of the speed curbing as he made his way off of turn 10. And now as they work down into turn number 1, they begin the run up into turn number 2. And it is still Morad running at the point. Kenton Cook in 2nd, Alex Ellis 3rd, Michael Lewis 4th, and then Robert Wickens in car number 4 running back in the 5th place spot. Todd?
The fight is up front with Daniel Morad, who is driving as much with his rear view mirror as he is looking out the front windshield of that Cadillac CTS. Once again, preparing to go down the long and ready straightaway, and that will be the key part. Well, where will Kenton Cook look? Inside? Will it be outside? But again, he's starting to feel a little bit more pressure from Alex Ellis, who is just a 1/10 of a second behind him. The 3 run nose to tail down the long and ready straightaway, and Daniel Morad has been driving very specific race lines. He was driving as much defensively as he is aggressively. Cook swinging wider to the outside that time, and again looking to the inside. When Morad closes the doors, they head toward 8 and the S's. They are again nose to tail with the left, right, coming out onto the front straightaway, and Daniel Morad has still maintained that lead with 12 and a half minutes remaining. Alex Ellis putting a little bit more pressure on Kenton Cook, and then there is a bit of a gap to Michael Lewis. Robert Wickens is running 5th. Mark Wilkins is running 6th. Matt Clark is running 7th. Mason Filippi in 8th. Sam Fellows 9th. And Parker Thompson rounds out the top 10, but is Morad pressured by Cook and Ellis right behind him.
And back in 11th is veteran Kenny Wilden after running a little bit further up earlier. This battle up front has been superb as now we go on board with Kenton Cook, who is all over the rear bumper there of the race leader as they swing down through 5B and begin the run up the back straightaway. Robert Wickens in car number 17 trying to hold off a determined Kenton Cook. As we look at Michael Lewis, he had dropped a little bit further back in that fourth place position. He would love to get up there and make this a four-way fight, but right now the three cars off the end of the Andretti straightaway back into turn number 8, headed for 9. And again, Wickens is making that car as wide as possible. Cook takes a look on the inside into turn 10. No room there, and they'll go single file back up across the line as the minutes wind down here. I believe we're well under 10 minutes to go before that checkered flag comes out. Todd, this has been absolutely superb.
Since the restart of the race after that competition caution, it has been known to nose to tail. Daniel Morad, Kenton Cook, and Alex Ellis are the top 3. Morad seemed to slide just ever so slightly as they went through corner number 1 that last time, but it has been non-stop action at the front between these 3. Alex Ellis, Kenton Cook, and both are chasing Daniel Morad. The gap shifts ever so slightly, a half a tenth here, a half a tenth there. Cook looks to be trying to creep right up as they go through corner 5 this time around, and then make their way down the Andretti straightaway. Will he poke his nose out to the left? Will he poke his nose out to the right? It seemed as if he swung a little bit wider last time before trying to up the inside. Maybe he's got the draft this time. Pulls out to the left a little bit earlier on Daniel Morad, and Morad, though, drifts across to the left a little bit, not allowing Cook to run, headed into the S's path.
And Todd, we're going to check the interval back to Michael Lewis in car number 13. It looks as though he has made up just a little bit of ground on these front-running 3 drivers as they come to the line. Daniel Morad in car number 17, and again, taking a look down on the inside is Kenton Cook, followed by Alex Ellis and then Lewis in car number 13. No, it's 1.5 seconds, so he lost about a tenth that time by, but any kind of a miscue up front among those front-running 3 drivers, then Lewis is going to be right there. The 4 of Robert Wickens in 5th, but he is some 5 seconds back in that 5th place position. The battle on the racetrack between turns 3 and 4 under the Continental Tire Bridge. Robert Wickens holding on to that 5th place spot. He has made up some ground on the front running 3 cars, but it's still that 17 of Daniel Morad, followed by Kenton Cook in car number 2, and then the 14 of Alex Ellis.
Boy, they are battling. It has been non-stop since the restart. Kenton Cook again trying to creep up the outside. Did he get a little bit further along Daniel Morad this time around? That nose of his Cadillac is in front, but Morad is in perfect position as the track shifts to the right and he sets up for the S's. Now Alex Ellis is starting to challenge for 2nd place as well. He's having a look around the outside of Kenton Cook. He's going to be under attack as they head down into corner number 1, and Morad for the first time has a little bit more breathing room.
And we'll check the interval back here to Michael Lewis. Lewis is closed, so things starting to tighten up at the front. Daniel Morad with just about 8 minutes to go. That is enough time, Todd, for maybe 6 more laps. That's it before they see the checkered flag. And Morad in car number 17 has got the biggest margin he's had all race long, but for all intents and purposes, it is a 4-way battle among these Cadillac CTSV cars, and Morad back in that 5th place position as Wickens back in the 5th place position. Morad by just about 4 or 5 car lengths under the Mobil 1 overhang there on the Andretti straightaway. The battle here for 2nd and 3rd tightening up as well as Alex Ellis in car number 14 and bringing along with him Michael Lewis in car number 13 as they try to chase down the race leader Daniel Morad in car number 17.
Here's a look as they come around from corner 10 out onto the front straight again. Just a couple of tenths between 2nd and 3rd with Kenton Cook, who is ahead of Alex Ellis. Michael Lewis running in the 4th spot. Daniel Morad feeling the heat once again, though, from Kenton Cook, who made up a couple of tenths on that last lap, and in particular through the 10 corner 10 out onto the front straight and then into corner number 1. Morad seems to be handling that not quite as well as Kenton Cook does, and he is back up on the rear bumper. Michael Lewis, Pat, looking like he wants to challenge and be part of this and make it a four-way battle before this is done. He may be in the best position if we have any action between these front 2 or 3 cars. It may be Michael Lewis who is in the best position, but right now Cook is again pushing Morad, and Morad goes off in Moss Corner, but then he gets turned around by Alex Ellis, and then look, Michael Lewis is now going to be the second place runner, and it will be up to him to chase down Daniel Morad. He'll have a bit of a gap, but with over 6 minutes left, it is going to be a charge to the finish. Daniel Morad may be getting a little bit of benefit there, but he will be under attack before long.
Well, that was a real shuffle of the running order there right in 5B as Morad got a little bit out of shape. Let's look on the replay here as I'm not sure if there was some contact there between Cook and Morad, but then Alex Ellis got into the back of Cook. And now we see the Cook car, I believe, has come onto pit road, so this is going to shuffle the running order. Michael Lewis in car number 13 is up into second. Alex Ellis third. Robert Wickens is fourth. Mark Wilkins is fifth. Parker Thompson all the way up into sixth.
Wow, that's a lot of action on one particular lap, and here it is again from the overhead view. Morad got just a little bit wide. It did look like he got nudged ever so slightly by Cook, who was the recipient of contact from behind, and Michael Lewis was the beneficiary going from fourth up to second. The gap is 1.9 seconds the last time by, but Michael Lewis appears to be closing on it, and Alex Ellis is tucked up with him. Robert Wickens fourth, Mark Wilkins in fifth. I think we are going to feel a little pressure for Daniel Morad before this one's done. Just under 5 minutes remaining in this event today.
Tough break for Kenton Cook, now being shown back in ninth after dominating practice and qualifying and running up front for the entire first half of the event, and then hounded the race leader Daniel Morad after we inverted the cars on the lead lap after that competition yellow. So about 4.5 minutes to go, enough time to get in maybe 3 more laps before we see that checkered flag in the flagger stand. And right now, Daniel Morad enjoying almost a 2-second advantage over Michael Lewis in car number 13, Alex Ellis in car 14, and then it is Robert Wickens in car number 4 running fourth. Mark Wilkins in the 16 car runs fifth. Sam Fellows having a good run here in car number 10. He is sixth. Mason Filippi in the 12 car is seventh. Eighth is the 9 of Parker Thompson. Cook in the 2 car back in ninth, and then Matt Clark in car number 1 back there in the 10th place position. Kenny Weldon is back in 11th. He's a lap down.
Let's look at the number 4 of Robert Wickens, who is currently running fourth, has a bit of a gap ahead of him to Alex Ellis, who is right on the tail of Michael Lewis. Those are the second and third place cars, but Robert Wickens has handled himself very well today. This is the first time he's driven the Cadillac CTS on the sim. Had a little difficulty during the practice adjusting to it, trying to brake deep, and then decided maybe that wasn't the best way to go with this heavier car than some of the ones he's been used to, but has found himself in a very good position in the late stages of this race. Michael Lewis was the beneficiary of some incidents in front of him, and he moved up a couple of spots. Maybe we'll see Robert Wickens gain a little something, but the battle for second, Pat, is heating up between Michael Lewis and Alex Ellis right now, trying to chase down Daniel Morad.
And they are side by side through turn number 2. There you see the race leader Daniel Morad long gone out in front, and then the number 13 and 14 cars, Michael Lewis in car number 13 and the 14 of Alex Ellis, the Canadian driver, former Indy Lights and Formula BMW driver, as they come into Moss Corner again side by side. There is Michael Lewis, and Lewis gets shuffled back into that third place spot. So it is Alex Ellis in car number 14 in the second place spot. So a change there from the previous lap.
Have a look at it here. They came together. It was Alex Ellis and Michael Lewis who had a little contact headed into Moss Corner, and then a little more contact on the way out, and Michael Lewis runs a bit wide. Alex Ellis is the beneficiary, and he is now the second place runner, hoping to try to chase down Morad, but the time is ticking away.
And as they come on the start-finish straightaway, it's less than 2 minutes to go. as Michael Lewis and Alex Ellis in car number 14. So it is Ellis in car 14, who looked as though he just tapped Michael Lewis coming down the chute, was able to get around there through Moss Corner. So what was a tight almost a 4-car battle up front among these Cadillac drivers. Now, as we get down to the final minute or so, it looks like Murad is sitting well ahead of the battle that's going on here for second. I don't think that is all over. Robert Wickens in car number 4, holding on to 4th. Mark Wilkins in the 16 rounds out your top 5. So it is the 14 of Alex Ellis holding on to second. The 13 of Michael Lewis, the Laguna Beach, California driver, there in third. I think he might be just a little bit too far back to make a challenge here for second. But looks like right now those are the 3 drivers headed to the victory podium. Murad in car number 17, Ellis in the 14 car, who runs in second, and then Lewis in car number 13 in third.
Yeah, Morad out in front with no one behind him for about a second and a half, or a couple of seconds. Now it's just a matter of getting around to the end of this race. But Alex Ellis looked to have a slightly faster car than Michael Lewis. He was challenging him, wanted that second place spot. The two had contact. They did come together. They didn't spin, but there was a little nudging and contact as they made their way through towards corner number 5. And it was Alex Ellis who came out ahead, and Michael Lewis has not been able to climb back and re-engage with the second place runner. It is Alex Ellis who has put a little bit of a gap between himself and Michael Lewis, and now it's going to be Daniel Morad, though, who is going to take victory here on iRacing as he's making his way now through Moss Corner.
And Daniel Morad, you ride on board with the winner of the Wayfarer Insurance Group GT Pro Invitational here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. One half of our Castrol Victoria Day eSpeedFest weekend, as Murad works his way off of the end of the Andretti straightaway through turn number 8, sets it up for the left-hander at turn 9. Just one more corner to go, as the clock had zeroed out here. And now it looks like they've put a couple more minutes up on the clock. So that might have been a bit of a glitch there on the actual race clock, but they're still showing time. So Murad goes through. This one not over. Alex Ellis, car number 14, holding on to the, no, it looks like that was it. I didn't quite see a checkered flag come out there, Todd, but it does look as though the clock has rolled out. And Daniel Morad with the victory here. Outstanding run. Did start second on that front row, went down as low as 7th, and worked his way back up to take the victory, but maybe a little bit of controversy there in Moss Corner with what happened among the front-running 3 drivers that really took out Kenton Cook, who had an absolutely brilliant run here this afternoon.
Through the first half.
There you see a little bit of post-race hostilities being played out here in turn number 3 between Kenton Cook and Daniel Morad. So hopefully we'll be able to get in some post-race interviews in the interview room to talk to some of our top drivers. Todd?
That was quite a display by Kenton Cook and Daniel Morad through the first part of that restart. They were nose to tail, lap after lap. Cook trying to find his way around. Daniel Morad looked to be a little bit quicker through corner number 1, but then it was Daniel Morad who found himself perfectly placed in the car along the long Andretti straightaway on the back. Looks like we've been joined by Daniel Morad now. Daniel, congratulations on a well fought race victory this afternoon.
Thank you. That was man, that was a nail biter the whole time. I didn't really have the pace that Kenton had. I mean, he's very, very quick, especially in this game. He just has it nailed. So, on single lap pace and over a stint, I just had nothing for him. So we all had a gentleman's agreement to, take tires in the middle of the race. And I was a bit more clever because I took it just before the caution came out. So that just gave me the track position. And I mean, from the halfway point onward, he just kept me on my toes. And you guys couldn't hear, but we were talking in our little private chat and making some jokes, rated R jokes. I'm not going to repeat them here, but let's just say I told him that he could give me the tip of his front bumper if he really wanted to. And you know what, he did such a good job. He's such a gentleman, and if I was in his position, I would have flat out wrecked him. So credit to him for not taking me out and allowing me to take my my home race win.
Boy, it was a lot of fun to watch. It seemed like you were maybe not quite as good through corner number 1, but as you were down the Andretti straight, you seemed to have that car perfectly positioned after every lap, and he just couldn't quite get by you.
Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say I know my way around Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
Yeah.
So I just knew where to place the car. You know, it's very, very difficult to overtake, especially when you have a spec series like this with a fixed setup. So as long as I didn't make any mistakes, then I knew that it was more or less mine, unless, you know, he wanted to give me the chrome horn, which I was fully expecting and I was okay with. I told him, whatever you need to do, I'm okay with the outcome. You know, it's been fun. You know, rest in peace, Morad. You know, it's okay. But yeah, I mean, he got me, but not good enough, and kind of backed out of it and then got clipped from behind, which kind of ruined the end of the race. I was really looking forward to, you know, coming to the white flag with him on my bumper and trying to keep the nerves under control. But man, the sim racing, it's not the real thing, but once you get into it, it's really, really fun. Hopefully the fans enjoyed it, and hopefully we can get out to the real track soon and put on the same kind of entertainment for all the spectators in real life.
Well,
Daniel, Pat Gonzalez here. Good to call one of your races again. For somebody like myself who's jumping into this whole iRacing, is it easier for a driver to go from real racing, not that iRacing isn't real, into the iRacing, or for the iRacing driver to get in a real race car once we're allowed to go back racing? What are the shared skill sets going from one to the other?
I think where I struggle is you take one of the main senses away, and that's the sense of feel, right? When you're driving a car, you kind of feel the platform moving underneath your butt. And with the sim, you're stationary. So even with the motion sim, you can't replicate the real life forces. So I would say it's predominantly vision based and audible based. So you listen for the wheel scrub and you see, you analyze with your vision what's happening. Whereas in real life, you're not really using your eyes as your primary sense. It's kind of a secondary sense. You're using the seat of your pants feeling as the primary sense, especially for me. So it's a hard transition to go from real life into the sim. But I would say it's even harder going from the sim into real life because you have the fear factor now. You can't just push reset. I mean, my reset button is nearly broken from the amount of times I've reset in the game. So if that was to happen in real life, my team wouldn't be really thrilled with me, and I wouldn't have a job to go back to. But thankfully, it's only a video game. It's great to keep sharp over the off season or during this time when we're not running. But I'm really looking forward to getting back into the real world of racing, where I get my main sense back.
Okay, well, we look forward. I'm sure everybody out there looking forward to seeing you back in a real race car on a real racetrack sooner than later. Congratulations on a great run here this afternoon.
Thanks so much. And I just want to say, can I just give a quick shout out to my chat on Twitch? They're awesome. They've been encouraging me the entire race. The things that were said in that chat should never be repeated. I just want to say they're rated R. And if you're not following me on Twitch, check it out, twitch.tv/moradness, and we can keep up the conversation there. Thanks.
Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel Morad.
Todd and Pat, sorry to interrupt. It's Adam Ross. I just wanted you to know that we've brought into the broadcast booth not only Daniel Morad, but also Kenton Cook. We've got Michael Lewis as well. You're almost better off to let them just go ahead and interview each other, because the conversation in the driver's chat room was absolutely epic. I'll send it back to you guys. I just want you to know that in the booth with us, we've got Kenton Cook, Michael Lewis with Daniel Morad. Have fun, fellas.
Thanks, Adam. Okay, Michael, do you want to talk to Kenton and talk about how you wound up in front of Kenton?
Yeah, so first of all, can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure my mic's all
Loud and
good.
clear.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for hosting this. This is a super fun race. Thanks to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Sam Fellows for organizing all this, and all the racers who joined. So it was super fun to be in it. And man, Kenton was on fire. So I was just trying to keep up with him the whole race. And basically, I need my engineer with me while I'm driving because I totally forgot to take tires at the pit stop. So I flat out forgot to select, add tires. And I was like, man, well, I'll just start driving out of pit lane because I don't want to waste more time sitting here. So that's how I passed Kenton. And then from there, it was just a matter of just kind of watching him go for the win. And yeah, man, it was really awesome watching you, man. It was a bummer that you couldn't, go for it at the end, but it was cool racing with you.
Oh man, it's always fun running with you, Michael. It's a pleasure to get the opportunity to run with guys like yourself of your capability and whatnot. So it's fun just to have this time with of community with drivers and other drivers that are on iRacing.
Kenton, can you loosen up a little bit? You're sounding a little bit too polished. Can we take it back to like what we were saying in the chat? What were you saying about
move you?
the tip?
I wanted to move you.
What were you? You're going to give me the tip of
That was my
of the
last
cook?
name, apparently.
The cook, easily confused with something else.
Oh geez, man. But that was good fun, man. Like I was like I couldn't get by it because this place is so hard to pass around. So I was like, dude, I'm gonna have to move you at some point.
And I told you to do it. I was encouraging you. Why didn't you do it?
The thing is, when I did it, I didn't do it how I wanted it to. So I checked up a little bit to let you take the apex, and I got rear-ended. So,
So
but
I
it's
have a
fine.
question. No, go ahead. Sorry, you keep going.
It's not fun getting
No,
the
no,
tip,
I'm
is it?
done.
So Daniel, it's Michael here. First of all, congratulations, man. Nice run. Super solid. I have a question. How did you time that yellow so perfectly, man? That was like super cool.
Well, see, before we started the race, I got donations for taking out drivers in practice. So I used that $20 USD, which is basically like $1,000 Canadian at this point. I paid off the series. All the organizers just want to say thank you for accepting my bribe. It was just, I couldn't have been timed any better. And I also want to thank the Academy for all the support out there. That is all.
Nicely said, Daniel. Really nice.
Any more questions?
No,
Hey, Michael, you might have a future in color commentary. You're really good. You have the voice for it, my man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe get some more practice. Try to get on the podium more to be in more of these interviews. So
I mean, you're a better race car driver, but
Thanks,
keep
man.
racing.
Thank you.
Hey, is Robin here as well?
No idea.
No, that doesn't look like it.
Oh, he left. Can I just say that it's super impressive how quick Wickens was with the handbrake, because these cars are not easy to drive. You need to like overlap the brake pedal. So really nice job. And also you have to blip the throttle on the downshift. So just want to mention that. We kind of haven't mentioned anything about that. So it was really cool to race with Rob again and have so many top level drivers. It'd be awesome to do this in real life, all of us on the same track. But for now, I think this is the only way it's going to be. But yeah, a lot of fun. Thanks a lot, guys.
Well, we'll use that as a good way to jump off and suggest that maybe this is something that we can look at in the future. Daniel, Kenton, Michael, we really appreciate it. Great job, guys. A lot of fun watching you guys race, and we'll have to keep an eye on the Twitch too to make that part of the conversation in the future. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the time today. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, Pat. That looks like the drivers have had their post race comments. Everybody seems to be of good spirits. No hard feelings, especially since they were kind of jabbing each other online while the race was going on. But that is the other part of sim racing that's been fun too. Is that the drivers, that while they take it seriously and they're always ultra competitive, they have the right perspective about it too. They have fun with it. It's meant to be fun and enjoyable for everyone. I think that's helping everyone.
Indeed, Todd. Enjoyed calling the action. as I'm sure you did as well. You've done a few more of these than I have, but I think we've got a few more of these coming up before we can actually get back on to a racetrack. Although, as we said, that starts tomorrow in terms of the NASCAR race at Darlington. And maybe we'll share the last bit of information here as we sign off on G-Force TV. We'd like to thank everyone for watching the Wayfarer Insurance GT Pro Invitational, part of the Castrol Victoria Day eSpeedFest. Tomorrow, we have a full day schedule of stock car racing action, starting with the Canadian Sim Racing Series public qualifier tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. live here on G-Force TV. This race is open to the public, and anyone with iRacing can enter. Please visit CanadianSimRacingSeries.com for details and to register. I believe you can still register for that qualifying race at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Our main event tomorrow will be the NASCAR Pinty's iRacing Invitational in the Castrol 150 presented by Canadian Tire. That comes up on TSN at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night after Sports Center and following the NASCAR Cup Series race at Darlington. To close out the weekend, the Canadian Sim Racing Series final event will go live here on G-Force TV at 9 p.m. tomorrow evening, following the end of the Pinty's race on TSN. So, Todd, enjoyed sharing the microphone with you once again. And we also remind those folks to visit CTMP's virtual marketplace on the WhatsApp section of Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.com to see the full list of weekend promotions from our CTMP sponsors like Durham Tourism, Brock Street Brewery, and many, many more. Earlier this week, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park announced the cancellation of 2 major events due to the coronavirus. At this time, CTMP will be offering the following 2 options in regards to tickets and/or camping you may have purchased for these 2020 events: the Castrol Victoria Day Speedfest and the Mobile One Sports Car Grand Prix. You can transfer your 2020 ticket purchase to an event in 2021. That is option 1. Or you can request a full refund, and you can correspond with us via email at info@ctmpark.com. That's info@ctmpark.com. Fans, remember to follow us at CTMP Official on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for updates on our season as they develop in the coming weeks and months. This race has been brought to you by Wayfarer Insurance Group. Get the right coverage so you can enjoy the roads less traveled. Visit wayfarerinsurancegroup.com to learn more. So, Todd Lewis, interesting race here this afternoon. Interesting for me to listen to those drivers post-race. I'm sure the conversations here this afternoon were far calmer than they would have been should have that action that we saw at the end of the race happened on an actual racetrack, and we had a bunch of banged up race cars and irate drivers. So
yeah, no doubt.
Saw a little bit of that after, but no harm, no foul.
Well, that's the thing with sim racing, is you can give somebody a little post-race nudge, and it doesn't cost any money. You just have a few laughs about it, and everybody enjoys it afterwards. Pat, it was a pleasure as always to partner with you. I enjoy it thoroughly, and I look forward to more sim racing, perhaps maybe more. We'll have we'll be back out on track at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park very soon.
Well, we look forward.
Your unwanted visitor is here again, guys. I've got to bring in again, Sam Fellows from the racetrack. He wants to share a few things with you about the weekend. So again, sorry to interrupt, Pat and Todd.
Hey guys, can you hear me all right?
Yeah,
gotcha.
we can hear you, Sam. Nice drive out there. You got quicker as the race went on.
Yeah, iRacing qualifying is not my forte. I could not get a good lap time in, but I figured I'd be consistent and see what I got. I just want to thank both of you guys and all the fans and everybody who tuned in, and everyone at CTMP who's been working on this, and Adam Ross as well. Just thank you so much, guys, for doing this. I know it's something that everyone appreciates at home, and from all of our sponsors, Canadian Tire, Castrol, Wayfarer Insurance, and Durham Tourism on my car, and Pelote Shoes. Just thanks very much. It was a lot of fun, and hope everyone's staying safe at home. So I just wanted to say my bit there.
Okay, Sam, we look forward to seeing you at the actual racetrack, hopefully in the coming months. Adam Ross, are you still on board there?
Yeah, still here.
Adam,
I'm just enjoying the show.
As I've said, I mean, normally you and I are sharing the announce booth at the racetrack during the NASCAR Pinty Series races. I know we both wish we were actually there today, but if you can't do that, then I think this is the next best thing. You've got a big day coming up tomorrow with all of the NASCAR Pinty stuff, a chance to see actual cars on the racetrack at Darlington. We look forward to Sunday here at the Castrol Victoria Days eSpeedFest.
You know, I'm really curious to see what the TV ratings are going to be tomorrow for this Darlington race, because I said on a couple of programs that I take part in this week, I don't care if it was competitive cricket, which I'm not a big fan of, but I would watch live competitive anything at this point just to have something to cheer for. So I think tomorrow's going to be a big day, Pat.
Yeah. Now, as you know, I'm a big horse race fan, and thankfully a bunch of the horse race tracks are getting back into action without fans, and of course NASCAR starts that for motor racing tomorrow, and hopefully it's the beginning, as I said, on the road to recovery as we turn the corner and get back to how whatever our new normal is going to be. And our thanks as well to Spencer Mullen for walking this rookie through all of the technical requirements and the ins and outs of GeForce TV. But we've absolutely enjoyed working with you and Spencer, and of course with my announcing colleague Todd Lewis. Have a great rest of the Victoria Day weekend if you're here in Canada, and if you've tuned in from elsewhere around the world, stay safe, and we'll see you at a racetrack soon.
Introducing GeForce TV. GeForceTV.net is your new source for action overload. Featuring free live programming year-round and countless hours of on-demand video, GeForce TV will be your first stop whenever you want to see the latest and hottest racing action. See live Friday Night Excitement weekly from Washouican Speedway, and watch the stars of tomorrow make a name for themselves during Thursday night's live microsprint racing. GeForce TV is also the new home for Rivals Race Chat. Watch weekly as Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross discuss all the hot topics in the world of motorsports. For iRacing fans, GeForce TV has you covered with hours of live broadcasting from Rivals and GeForce TV racing leagues. GeForce TV promises to deliver motorsports, esports, and action sports you want to see, along with talk shows and vlogs to keep you connected to the lifestyle you love. Visit GeForceTV.net today to subscribe for free. Sit back, hold on, and feel the G's on GeForce TV.